Made my life difficult for nearly a decade. I'll make you look like an idiot. When I was 19, my parents helped me buy a small condo for university. It cost $52,000, which sounds crazy cheap now, but this was 20 years ago in a small Canadian city. The building was tiny, only 24 units, and almost everyone living there was over 65 years old. I had a basement unit. Nothing fancy, but perfect for a student. I knew I was the young guy in an old people building, so I made sure to be the best neighbor possible. I helped people carry groceries, moved heavy furniture, kept quiet, never had parties. I wanted zero drama. Every single neighbor loved me, except one, my upstairs neighbor Linda. This woman was 70 years old and maybe weighed 100 pounds soaking wet, but she walked like an elephant was doing jumping jacks. The ceiling would shake every time she crossed her living room. She'd blast gospel music on her TV at max volume at 5 in the morning every Sunday. When I politely asked her to turn it down, she started doing it every single day instead. She'd complain to anyone who would listen about that damn kid living below her. One time she called the police and said she saw me break into her car, gave them a full statement with details and everything. Problem was, I was out of the country on an internship when it happened. The police figured that out pretty quick, but she just kept making my life miserable anyway. Linda was on the condo board. She tried to get me kicked out 11 times in 7 years. 11 times. Every little thing became a complaint. My car was parked wrong. I left a bag by my door for 2 hours. Someone's kid was loud and she blamed me even though I didn't have kids. The other board members must have known something was off, but Linda played the sweet old lady card perfectly. Why would this adorable grandmother lie? 7 years into living there, I was working as a paramedic. I got called to this crazy scene where a guy shot his neighbor over some land dispute. The neighbor survived, but it was a whole thing. The investigating officers needed a statement from me about what I saw when I arrived. One of the cops was someone I'd worked with before, so he offered to just come to my place instead of making me drive to the station. We set a time for right after my shift. No big deal. I had just gotten out of the shower when they buzzed the building. I hit the door buzzer and yelled, "I'll be right out." Then I heard them walk up the stairs. They knocked on Linda's door instead of mine. I heard them introduce themselves. "We're from RCMP Major Crimes Division. We're looking for your downstairs neighbor." My heart stopped for a second. Then Linda goes, "Oh, he lives downstairs. What do you want with him?" The officer says, "We can't discuss that, ma'am. It's an active investigation." I realized what just happened and honestly, I got excited. The actual statement took maybe 15 minutes. They left and I knew exactly what Linda was about to do. Within 2 days, people were avoiding me in the hallway, giving me dirty looks. Nobody would talk to me. Then one of the board members showed up at my door with this official letter. It said I had to explain why Major Crimes came looking for me or they were kicking me out. I asked what this was about. He goes, "Well, Linda sent us a letter saying you were arrested for robbery and kidnapping and that you must be out on bail. People don't feel safe with you here." I calmly told him I wanted a formal board meeting per the condo bylaws. He said fine, but that it didn't look good for me. The meeting was set for a week later. I spent that week preparing. The day came and Linda was sitting there looking so smug. Other board members were glaring at me like I was a serial killer. The board president asked what I have to say in my defense. I stood up and handed everyone a letter. Official RCMP letterhead signed by the regional superintendent. It said I was not under suspicion of any crimes, had never been arrested or detained, and that my duties as a paramedic required me to give statements for investigations. It specifically mentioned that date and said the officers never indicated I was involved in any wrongdoing. The last part was the best. It said they were deeply saddened this letter was necessary and that they were reopening an investigation into previous false statements made against me. I watched everyone read it. The looks shifted from me to Linda real quick. She started yelling that it had to be fake, that she saw me being led away in handcuffs. She begged them to believe her. I stayed calm and addressed the board. I laid out 7 years of harassment, the false police reports, the constant complaints. Then I told them my lawyer advised me not to discuss it further because Linda being on the board while harassing me opened them all up to a lawsuit. And I was still deciding what to do about that. Everyone went silent. The next day, the board president knocked on my door. Linda had been removed from the board immediately. She was given a warning that any more harassment could get her kicked out of the building entirely. Better yet, the police showed up at her door with a summons. She was charged with making a false statement and obstructing a peace officer. She had to go to court. She pled guilty to both charges and got a suspended sentence plus a 1-year order not to contact, harass, threaten, or inconvenience me in any way. If she followed the rules for a year, it would be wiped from her record like it never happened. But for that 1 year, she had to be on her absolute best behavior. The gospel music at 5 a.m. stopped immediately. The elephant walking got quieter. She wouldn't even look at me in the hallway. I ended up moving to another province before her year was up. But for those final few months living there, I finally got to sleep in on Sunday mornings.